Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Nest reading session. It's so lovely to see you. I hope everyone's doing okay. I hope everyone's well. Today it'll just be pretty much the same setup as usual. So I will read through a book a couple of pages at a time and stop at any difficult words. That I might have flagged, highlighted, just to explain them a little bit more to help you understand the whole context of the story. The book that we're reading today is called Abe the Service Dog, and I will put a link in the description below just to take you to the Google Drive thing where you should find all of the books that both me, Tess and Catherine have been covering over the last few weeks. And Abe the Service Dog will be there as well. So again, just the same setup, the same layout, and yeah, we'll get started. So this is what the book looks like. So, Abe the Service Dog. Abe is the name of the dog. It's a bit of a strange name, isn't it? But yeah, Abe is well, it's a strange name for a dog. Abe is the name of the dog, and the dog is just there pictured as a service dog, and I'm going to explain what a service dog is shortly. So this is the first page here. Hi, I am Abe, and I am a service dog. Next page. When I was a puppy, my owner told me I would be a service dog for a person who could not see. I didn't know what that meant, but I knew it was something special. Okay. So we have service dog in the title, and we have service dog on this first page. So this will be a good time to kind of talk you through it. A service dog is a smart, well-trained, dedicated, well-behaved dog. So they are really intensively trained for this job. And what they do is they help a range of people that have special needs. May this be blind people, people with who are mentally challenged, people who may suffer seizures, if they have epilepsy. So these are just a few examples of the kinds of people that service dogs can help. And you might have heard service dogs being referred to as guide dogs. That's also the correct term to use for them, and that's typically used for those who cannot see. For those who are blind who have a service dog, those dogs are usually called guide dogs. So they're trained from when they're quite young to be really well disciplined, really well behaved, really severely trained in order to help these people who have these special needs. And they become the whole world for these people who have these special needs. So their whole safety, their whole life depends on these dogs. So it's really special, really, really important, really important. And then we have the word puppy in that second page. I just flagged it just in case you might have been questioning it a little bit. So the word puppy is just like a baby dog. It's a young dog. So if you see that Abe is in his little thought bubble there, in his little thought bubble, he is picturing himself as a puppy. And so puppy is just him when he was younger. So cute. Okay, then we have the third page here. When I got a little older, I was sent away to school. Next page. My sister was sent to another school to learn how to help people with autism, to be their friend and to help them get around. So a lot of you probably know what school is. A lot of you probably heard that word. A lot of you might go to school, but I just thought I'd just give you a brief explanation just in case. So school is, a building, an institution where people become educated. It's typically children, but it doesn't have to be. And in this case, it's Abe the dog. So Abe the dog is going to school to be educated, to learn things. Then on that next page there, we have the word autism. So autism. Autism is a developmental disorder, and it's you can have people who have very mild autism, so people who display very mild symptoms, or you can see people that have very severe autism who exhibit extreme severe symptoms. And the symptoms of those with autism include repetitive behaviours and thoughts, restricted behaviours and thoughts. They find social situations, social interaction really difficult. They find communication really difficult. And so it's really important if they need a service dog, that they get that service dog, because it helps them so much to be able to live a normal life and not be hindered by the challenges and the difficulties in being able to communicate with people. So that's what autism is there. It's like a developmental disorder, and it's characterized by a number of things, but mainly it's like a restricted thought, restricted behaviors, repetitive behaviors, and like difficulties with communicating, difficulties with social interaction. And we go on to the next page, which is here. One of my brothers was sent to a special school so he could learn how to warn people that they were going to get sick before they did. Next page. My other brothers and sisters became good friends with people in good families. Not every dog can become a service dog. Okay, so here we have the word warn. So one of my older brothers was sent to a special school so he could learn how to warn people that they were going to get sick before they did. So warn is when you inform someone of something before it happens, and it's usually like a bad thing. So you warn somebody of something bad before this danger happens, this problem happens. You alert them, and that's what one of Abe's older brothers is going to help with, to basically alert people, to tell people that they are going to be sick and ill before they actually are. Okay. And I didn't find anything on that next page there, so we'll just move on to the next one. School was hard. I had to learn many things just like you. I had to learn to stop and look before crossing the street, and learn what a red, yellow and green directional light meant and what I should do. Okay, so I didn't find anything on that first page there that started with school was hard, but I did find a word on this page here, and that was, well, it's two words really, directional light. I've never heard of traffic lights being called directional lights, but I think that's what it means. I think it means directional lights, because if you look at the picture and the description, it's red, yellow and green lights, and that's what traffic lights are. So I think in this context, it's a traffic light. And so what that's red means stop to cars, and red means to cars for cars to stop. Yellow means for you to get ready, and green means for you to go. Next page. I was taught how to guide a person to go left, right, to step up and down, to stop, to move forward a little, to back up, and much more. I had to learn where I was and how to get back, even in strange places. So I didn't find anything in that page there, in that first page that I just read there, but in the second page that I read there, I did. And the word strange, so it's like something that's unusual, something that's surprising. And in this context, it definitely means that the Abe the dog would be unfamiliar with the place. He wouldn't particularly know his way around. He'd be maybe a bit lost, but he's being taught to find his way back home, even if he's not familiar with the place, even if it's not somewhere he's been before. Next page, where they're all sat at tables. I had to learn how to behave in a restaurant and never ever beg for food. That was hard. Next page. I had to learn that I could be a plain old playful dog as long as my halter was off. But once it was on, I was working. I became the eyes of my master, and their safety and how they got around was up to me. So a restaurant, a lot of you probably know what a restaurant is, but it is a place where people go and they pay to have food made for them, cooked for them, and brought to them for them to eat. So, McDonald's, Nando's, Bella Italia, these are all restaurants. And you go there, you pay for them to make your food and bring your food to you. Then on that same page is the word beg. So beg in this, so it means to like ask somebody for something, but it's kind of more than just asking somebody for something. You're kind of going, please, 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 please give me some, please give me some food, please, please, please give me some food. That's kind of begging. So it's not just kind of going, please can I have some food? It's kind of, please, 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 please. So if any of your friends have ever done that, that would be begging. And then on the page after that, I found the word plain. So I had to learn that I could be a plain old playful dog as long as my halter was off. Plain. So it means like kind of not remarkable, not particularly special in any way, simple, basic, and that's what it means here. So when he has his halter on, and I'll explain what a halter is in a second. When he has his halter on, Abe knows that he's supposed to be working, and he's something special because he's helping these people with special needs to live a normal life, and that's really special and it's really important. But when the halter is off, he's just allowed to be any other ordinary dog. So as you can see on the picture there, the owner is, I think, throwing a toy for him. So he can just run and play with toys and just enjoy life. It would just be like if you've just finished a shift at work, and you can just enjoy yourself, relax, do what you love doing. That's kind of what Abe is doing here. So when the halter's off, he can do whatever he likes. He can play as much as he likes, which is lovely. Then the word halter. So I said about the halter being off, the halter being on. but I haven't explained it just yet. So the halter is, I'll see if there's I don't know if there's a picture. It's kind of like the leader. So if I just go back to the previous page, what he's wearing around his neck there is the halter. So it's not just dogs that wear halters, horses typically wear halters. And it's like a strap or a rope that goes around the animal's head, and is that used particularly for leading, for keeping the animal under control. But I think for the service dogs, because it's not the dogs aren't naughty or anything, and they're not going to run away. It's just for the It's just for the protection of the human, for the protection of the person. Because if they didn't have the halter to hold on to, they might not. If it's a blind person, they might not be able to be led. So I think it's for the protection of the human as well. That's what the halter is there. Then on that same page we have the word master. I've definitely explained this before in a previous story. I can't remember which story exactly, but I've definitely explained this word before. It's a kind of a different context. So the master is the owner of the dog, or another animal. So a master can specifically refer to the owner of an animal. It also, like I said, it has other meanings as well, but in this context, that's what it means. So the master is the owner of the dog, the owner of Abe. And then we have the word safety, which just comes after master there. So I became the eyes of my master, and their safety and how they got around was up to me. So safety is when someone or something is being protected. So if you are in a condition of safety, you're unlikely to be affected by danger, risk, injury. So these people who have these special needs, who have these service dogs, are generally safe, because it's unlikely that as long as they have their service dog, they're going to come into any danger, any injury, or any risk, because the service dog has been trained so well to be able to kind of deal with those scenarios. So that's what it means. So safety is like the condition of being protected from danger, or it's unlikely that danger will occur. It's unlikely that a risk or injury will occur. Then we have this page here. After a long time in school, I graduated, and my trainer introduced me to BJ, the person who would become my master. We were both excited. Next page. We trained together for several weeks and became very good friends. She was really nice, and we always spent fun time together once she took my halter off. So that first page there, I found the word graduated. So after a long time in school, I graduated, and my trainer introduced me to BJ. So graduated, it doesn't necessarily just have to be from uni. It doesn't have to just be from university. You don't just have to graduate with a degree. You can also graduate from a training course or something like that, and that is the case of Abe here. So Abe has graduated from his school, his training school, which means that he has successfully completed his course of training. So his training's finished, he's done really well, he's been successful, he's done everything right. If there were marks, he would have got a high mark. So he's passed his course of training. In the next page, I think again I've said um I've explained the word several before, but I'll explain it again. So several, it means more than two, but not that many. So we trained together for several weeks and became very good friends. So they trained together for more than 2 weeks, but not loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of weeks. It was more than two, but not loads. And that's what several means there. Now we're moving on to this page here. One day the trainer said we were ready and I was off to a new home with my master and friend. We shared many years together and had many wonderful experiences. We went shopping, visited friends, ate in fine restaurants, and travelled across the country. I picked up on the word travelled. So they travelled across the country. They they took a lot. They took a lot of journeys across the country. They and travelled is it kind of suggests a longish journey, kind of a long journey. Um, and that's what that means. So traveling, it might be in a car, might be on a train, bus, aeroplane, on foot, but that's what this means here. They were journeying across the country. I took care of BJ. I knew when she didn't feel right and could tell if she was happy or unhappy, sad, grumpy, or whatever. I would always try to make things better for her. BJ took care of me. She knew when I didn't feel right and could tell if I were happy or unhappy, sad, grumpy, or whatever. She would always try to make things better for me. So we've got here that it's not just a matter of the dog helping the human is also helping the dog as well. So they've got this really good friendship, like it's a really close, tight friendship, and they know each other so well. They know how to respond to each other. So they know what to do if one's unhappy. They know what to do if the other one's grumpy. They do know what to do, and it's a really lovely relationship. And I picked up on the word grumpy there. So grumpy means to be bad tempered, to be irritable. So like, you're not feeling in the best mood. You're kind of, ugh, you're easily irritable. You're easily unhappy. Someone might keep getting on your nerves. That's grumpy. Now onto the last 2 pages here. A long time has passed and now I can't help my friend anymore. BJ is off to school again and training with a new service dog. I will meet him tomorrow and help him understand his new master. Then I become like my other brothers and sisters. I become a good friend for people in a good family. You really couldn't ask for more. So the new dog that he is meeting, he's helping him understand his new master. So understand in terms of um, being able to be knowledgeable and know the character of BJ, how to nurture BJ, um, how to help her when she's not in the best way, how to help her if she needs help. So in this case, understand means to become more knowledgeable. So Abe is going to help this other dog um, become more knowledgeable about BJ. So she gets the most out of life. Perfect, that's the end of the book. What a lovely book that was. Just kind of highlights the importance of service dogs and what an amazing role they play for the people who need them the most. As always, I have a few questions just to test the knowledge. Again, they're not marked or anything, they're just for your benefit, just to ensure you understood the premise of the story, understood what was going on, understand the context and everything. So the first question I have here is, Abe's sister was sent to a school to help people with which condition? Abe's sister was sent to a school to help people with which condition? I'll give you a couple of minutes to find that. Abe's sister was sent to a school to help people with which condition? Okay, so it's this page here. And the condition that Abe's sister was sent to help people with is autism. And I explained in quite a bit of detail what autism is. So that's what Abe's sister has gone to do. She's gone to help people with autism. Second question. What could Abe do once his halter was off? Remember what a halter is? It's like the leader that goes around Abe's neck, around his head. So what could Abe do once his halter was off? What could Abe do once his halter was off? Just give you some time to try and find that answer. It's a bit further along. Okay, what could Abe do once his halter was off? And the answer is that Abe could become a plain old playful dog. So once his halter was off, he could become a plain old playful dog, chasing his ball, playing with toys. But once the halter was put back on again, he was working. So once the halter was on, he was working and helping his master. When he had the halter off, he could have fun, he could play, he could enjoy, and the dog Abe was able to distinguish between those two. So once the halter was off, he was able to realise, okay, I'm having some me time, I'm having some fun time. And finally, what could Abe do when he could no longer help BJ? And so this is right at the end. What could Abe do when he could no longer help BJ? What could Abe do when he could no longer help BJ? I'll show you the page. It's the very last one there. So, what Abe could do when he could no longer help BJ was that he could become a good friend for people in a good family. So he would work for BJ or for somebody with these special needs, and then he could go to a house, just a home with a family, and be their pet dog, where he would no longer work because he might be a bit too old now. He might be a bit too old to be a service dog now. So he's going to become so the way he's put it there is become a good friend for people in a good family. So that's lovely. So he'll just go into a nice family and they'll take care of him since he can no longer help BJ. That's the end of the questions and the end of the book. I think it's a really wholesome book, a really wholesome story. I hope it's helped you understand maybe a bit about what they do if you didn't know before, because even I've learnt some stuff about service dogs just from reading this story. Really wholesome book and educational. It's been a pleasure, and please keep safe. I hope you're all well, and I will see you next time for another video. I think that's everything. So yeah, like I said, I'll put the book in the description below. Bye guys.